I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night.
Are you serious, Mr. Wright? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Are you seriously trying to claim that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument?
Ugh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Well, Wright. Nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old. Does this sketch really prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, then why not start with this sketch? Damn. Why would he say that?
Alright then, let us hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show?
I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Right, Phoenix. Look carefully and think it over. This sketch drawn by Laurice Donham is...
Oh.
No, wait. Actually, if you think about it, flying over the bridge is a complete impossibility, especially if it's a dead body. No one can do that. However, and this idea just came to me. What if, instead of flying over, she glided under the bridge? Oh. I think I'm seeing how this happened. Yes, gliding under the bridge would be very possible if my theory is correct. Yes, everyone. Even I will admit that something is obviously funny about this sketch.
Mr. Wright, I'm no art critic, but even I could see that.
No. That's not what I meant, Your Honor. What I mean is that Laurice Donham has stated over and over again that this sketch was exactly as he saw it. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. Contradicts reality? This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger pointing again. Okay, Wright. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? And these, I was thinking. Remember how the judge said that one of the suspension cables has snapped due to the fire? What if it did? What if it's not because? What if it didn't disconnect because of the fire, but because someone cut it off, tied Elise Donham's body on it, and push? That would mean the suspension cables are underneath the bridge, in which case, these are the suspension cables. They are not above the bridge. This image is upside down. These suspension cables are impossible. It's this wire connected to the bridge.
The wire?
Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. Apart from the obvious, of course. Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how this sketch does that. This one. Right there. See, right there. It's underneath the bridge. Oops. There we go. Hello? Oh god. Present. I lost my place for a moment.
Well, that's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Now, let us compare this photo with the sketch. As you can see, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. And yet, on the actual Dusky Bridge,
Jumping Jehoshaphat!
The wires are below the guard wires.
What? Order! Somehow this sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. Yet, however, isn't it likely that the artist saw it wrong?
Or perhaps he just drew it wrong.
Either way, it sounds that you're just wrong.
With someone like Laurice, I admit that a mistake is more than possible. But then that begs the question, why did the mistake occur? What was the reason?
Are you saying that you know the answer to that?
Listen everyone, just think back for a moment, okay? Remember what Laurice was doing when he witnessed this event. He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to appear. He waited and waited, until he finally lay down. Then suddenly, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now, think about what sort of position Larry must have been in at the time. He was on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did.
He was lying on his back? I'm sorry, but I can't see how it relates.
But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down.
Oh! No way.
Laurice Donham witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down, burned into his mind as it was so amazing.
So then, this sketch should actually...
I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Laurice Donham's sketch is like this. My God. This is how it should actually look. So therefore, the victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge, as it was so apparently obvious. Rather, it was swinging below. A more plausible scenario. That's right, just like a pendulum.
Ridiculous! Order! Oh. Of all the things to say, a pendulum!
The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have definitely caused some problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a little gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to do it.
But let's think about this for a minute now, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff.
Yes, that sounds about right.
In order to cover that distance, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get one that long, you'd have to plan ahead.
The lightning strike that night could only have been an accident. So it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared a rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get a rope ready. It was already right there in front of them.
What?
I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already around them.
Well, in that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation supporting your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum?
It's on the photo itself, as I had explained. Look at that. I don't think this snapped because of the lightning strike. It was ripped off and used. And look at it. It's dangling.
And the meaning of this is...
Well, if you want to know where the rope came from, Your Honor, it's right there in the picture, hanging right in front of your glorious beard.
Ah! This is one of the wires from the bridge!
When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Elise Donham's body. Wow. Wow. That is insane. Because there was simply no other way to move that body. Yep, you can't believe it, can you, Godot?
Mr. Godot! Oh. Well, it seems Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were quite high. So I suppose that is not an impossibility after all.
Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one. Did that really happen? Trite. I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? Ooh! Elise Donan's body! There were bruises, post-mortem. Yeah, right there. Body fell 10 feet after death. The pendulum. What if she came loose at the very end of the swing, and then, poof, she's in the air, and then falls to the ground. There's your bruising consistent of a 10-foot fall after death. Right there. Right there. Before I present my evidence, allow me to review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it was the one that was in front of the inner temple.
So that was the spot with the criminal?
Yes, Your Honor. Exactly. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If it was pushed from this point, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately here.
Did you say drop?
Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence suggesting her body dropped a good distance. What kind? Take a look at this autopsy report of the victim. It says that her body fell 10 feet after her death.
10 feet?
That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. That's... Yes, this bloodstained amethyst crystal is the one that came off of Miss Elise Donham's staff. And even more important is the place where it was found.
Indeed. I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal... Ah!
Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. That is more than enough evidence to prove this point.
Well, that explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You've provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive.
Why?
But Mr. Wright!
I thought this cold coffee might help you cool down.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot?
That was a dark and bitter guess you made, Trite. But you forgot one thing.
What will that be?
The aroma. Huh? Coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. The rest of this court does not speak coffee-nese. Could you elaborate a bit more? If the criminal had sent the body to the other side as you claim, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait.
An accomplice?
The criminal wasn't able to get across Dusky Bridge. So who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite? That is true.
Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without one.
Very well. If you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person who received the body on the Hazakura Temple side?
Well, it's not complicated at all. It really isn't. And this now cements my theory. Yes, it's not complicated at all. It's Iris. She was the one who was arrested after all. It's a no-brainer. The question then is, where is this going to take us? It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? But I don't see why you're surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bettini could never pick up a body. You're the only one who could have managed it. Trite. Were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, Mr. Godot. But have you? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the victim's corpse.
Well, it is strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two places at the same time.
Sister Iris, allow me to ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I've established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, and also a fact that you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. And yet the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, I'd say it's quite impossible for you to be clueless about this entire thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright?
What kind of nonsense is this? Are you claiming this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple? Are you serious, Trite? You mean that this woman is...
There's no one besides Iris that could have received a corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this entire time. Why her whole demeanor just changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman standing there at the witness stand. Her name is not Iris. Who she really is Dahlia Hawthorne. It's right, it's true. It's impossible for her to be clueless about the mechanics of this, and yet she is. I never thought I'd ever utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time. Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
That name rings some bells. Distant, but bells nonetheless.
It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file here contains all relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago.
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is mine. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne, she's already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month.
So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom.
What?
And here we are at the crux of the matter.
Order! Order!
Wait a moment. How can you... My sister! She's already dead! What kind of...
You, of all people, should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of the crane channeling technique flows within that body.
The crane channeling technique? Now what have I heard that?
That's right. You're not exactly Dahlia Hawthorne herself. Rather, you're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. How is that going to fly in court? What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was. Well, if you're gonna put it that bluntly, then... yes.
We're supposed to believe that a coincidence like that just happened.
Naturally, it was no coincidence, Mr. Godot. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions.
What's that?
These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2. Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell. In other words, 10 PM. However, Iris was seen before dinner time.
Well, that would mean the Iris that was at dinner was the real one.
And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also real. Therefore, the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely, one Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you even know what you're saying, Wright? This whole channeling of the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans talking about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing here is the real Iris. What? Calm down, and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to lightning strike. It was later, then, that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that will mean the Iris that received the body was the real one. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There, they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't exactly deny any of that.
Whew. Thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off. Way off. I'm sorry, but I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Huh. Then I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places?
Switch places?
That would be the only way, yes.
To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm this witness's identity, we can't continue this trial.
Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia. Which means they must have switched places somewhere.
Well, Mr. Wright, Since the time she was arrested at Hasakura Temple, have there been any chances for her to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne?
I'm thinking. There is one. But then the question begs, how long was Dahlia Hawthorne being channeled for? Just how long? Because if the switch occurred, she was already channeled. And Iris, as Phoenix said, has no spiritual power to do that with. I don't know when she was channeled, but I can at least answer the immediate question, which is there a chance? And there is one. It's unfortunate, but there is one. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance.
Oh? Explain yourself.
Yesterday, for just a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean, Wright?
What I mean is there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised.
Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that?
Sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It's not your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was Miles Edgeworth. It wasn't his fault. There was a big earthquake, and anyone who had anything to do with the DL6 incident would know that he has a trauma with earthquakes. It wasn't his fault. He was having a trauma attack, and no one could have foreseen an earthquake happening.
This is Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not?
An earthquake?
Earthquake! Oh my goodness! The inner temple! It is kind of tremormite!
How could I have? She fled. She escaped.
We went to the inner temple immediately. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne herself.
Now see here, Mr. Wright, that is quite enough. No judge in his right mind would ever consider the idea.
Be quiet. I had a feeling.
Been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice.
I guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. She's done hiding.
Dahlia Hawthorne. And my current profession? Permanently retired.
So you're not going to bother hiding anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me anymore.
Oh god, that stare. Yeah, that is the stare of someone who doesn't care and knows she can fully get away with what she's doing. Just like she said, she's dead. No one can punish her anymore, so she can freely do whatever she wants.
What is going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd ever meet again. And never like this if we did. This time, I'll end it. I'll end it all. For her and myself. Yeah. She is done hiding. And I both like and hate that expression she had. I like it in that it really conveys a lot of emotion behind it, but hate it in that it's that smug evilness of, I can do anything I want now and you can't punish me. Ha! I'm the trust fund child. I will just get bailed out no matter what. You know, that kind of thing. Don't ask why I said trust fund child. That was the first example that came to my mind. But yeah, obviously this episode was chopped up. I thought we were gonna get a to be continued 20 minutes ago. And that obviously did not happen. I grossly overestimated how much was left of this trial. So this is definitely cut in half, but you know, it works. It's 2 good episodes of about 30 minutes. It's a good chunk, it's a good split. So yay. Dahlia Hawthorne. I was right. I was right to be suspicious. And then when it talked about dragging the body across the bridge, I'm like, no. The Iris would have known about that fact that the bridge was burning. So you're not Iris, you're Dahlia Hawthorne. The shrug. So now, we're going to hear the testimony of one Dahlia Hawthorne and see what lies sprout from her mouth. Although I get a feeling she's not going to be lying because, again, she's dead. No one can punish her. When you are that confident that you're not going to be punished, you're very likely to just start telling the truth. I have a feeling she's going to do that, but we'll figure it out in the next episode. Until then, later everyone.